Hello everyone, I'm Ramesh Shivanna, and today I want to share a story that's shaping our future energy world, the geopolitics of hydrogen. We all know the planet is moving away from fossil fuels and towards cleaner energy. Hydrogen has suddenly become one of the star player in this transition. But hydrogen is not just a new fuel, it's also a new arena of international politics, trade, and technology. Let's break down in a simple terms what really hydrogen is. Hydrogen is the lightest element. It can be used as a fuel, a chemical feedstock, or a way to store renewable energy electricity for a longer period. It can be turned into ammonia or methanol shipped overseas and used in industries that are hard to electrify, like steel, cement, and shipping. That's why it's seen as a key piece of a net zero economy. Does all hydrogen is the same? No. Right now, most hydrogen is made from natural gas or coal. That's called gray hydrogen, and it produces a lot of carbon dioxide. If you capture CO2, you get blue hydrogen. And if you split water using renewable electricity, you get green hydrogen, the cleanest form. Countries disagree on which path to prioritize. Fossil fuel producers like parts of the Middle East, Norway, the US, and Japan are open to blue hydrogen. The Europe, Germany, and Spain push for green hydrogen from renewables. France wants nuclear powered hydrogen included. Brazil promotes hydrogen from biomass. Each option has a different costs, jobs, and political stakes, which means winners and losers. Why geopolitics matters? With oil and gas, a few countries held most of the resources that shaped global power for decades. Hydrogen is different. Almost every country has access to some renewable source, sun, wind, or water. So geography won't limit production as much. Instead, leadership will depend on who controls the technology, who can build factories at scale, who sets the rules and standards, and who builds alliances to invest and trade. This shift could redraw the global energy map. Old energy powers like the Gulf states, Russia, or Norway will try to stay relevant. New players like Chile, Morocco, India, and Australia could become export hubs for green hydrogen and ammonia. Major economies China, the Europe, the US, Japan, and Brazil are all racing to take the lead in this emerging market. Let's understand the technology and supply chains. Hydrogen depends on advanced equipment like electrolyzer and fuel cells. Europe pioneered many of these technologies, but China is catching up fast with the low cost manufacturing, just as it did with the solar panels. Critical minerals such as nickel and platinum are needed for some electrolyzers. That creates a new supply risk and pushes countries to diversify and secure their supply chains. Transport is another battleground. Hydrogen can move through pipelines, but for the ships, it's often converted into ammonia or other carriers. Each option has pros and cons, cost, safety, and where the value is added. If exporting countries do the conversion, they keep more of the value. To understand the security, jobs, and industries, hydrogen is tied to long term energy security. Countries want reliable supplies and predictable prices. They also want the new green industries like low carbon steel, green fertilizers, and hydrogen fuel technologies to be located at home. So, expect both competition and cooperation. Competition over technology and markets, and cooperation through bilateral deals, trade corridors, and standards. Who sets the global standards for clean hydrogen? How to measure emission? How to certify exports will shape the market. Strict rules may favor countries with abundant renewables. Looser rules may favor fossil based blue hydrogen. This is why you already see blocs and alliances forming to push their definition. The bigger picture is the hydrogen economy won't fully replace today's oil and gas market. Producing and moving renewable hydrogen at scale is still expensive and technically challenging, but it will become a major piece of the clean energy puzzle, and it will sit at the crossroads of climate policy, industrial strategy, and geopolitics. We are moving from a world that trade oil and gas to a world that will trade hydrogen, clean technologies, and critical minerals. This will reshape supply chains, alliance, and maybe even the balance of power. Why this matters to you? Hydrogen could fuel your future cars, ships, and planes. It could make the steel in your building and fertilizer for your food. It could decide which countries lead the next industrial revolution. Understanding its geopolitics is understanding the future of energy, jobs, and climate security. Hydrogen is more than a molecule, it's a test case for how the world manages the next big energy shift, balancing national interests and global climate goals. Thank you for listening.